All right, Alex, another episode of Opt-in is here. We've got 5 minutes on the clock to talk about the most wonderful time of the year because it is also the most difficult time of the year for a lot of SDRs to actively build up their pipeline and prospect and get meetings booked. I'm talking, of course, about holiday prospecting around Thanksgiving and Christmas and sort of these dips and valleys of activity for SDRs. There's these slushy lulls that tend to crop up. As we know, sales is pretty cyclical. So looking to you for some advice about how you as an SDR or as a manager can help mitigate some of those lulls and keep momentum going through the holiday season, set yourself up for a good new year. So talk me through it.
Yeah, I think that's perfect what you said there at the end. You got to get through the holiday season and set yourself up for success in January and the next year. And I think one of the easiest ways to do that, if you've hit a lull, if your connect rate dips, is really about focusing on the time that you would have maybe spent prospecting in the past, or like past month, I should say. Now you realize connect rates are low. How can I make a better use of my time? And I think whatever you decide to do there, it can be really easy to just open your phone, go on social media. Your numbers are dipping anyway, so it doesn't matter. Your manager's like, it's December, it's fine, if they give you that kind of leeway. But the best SDRs are the ones who take that time and go, I normally don't have an hour just free in the middle of my workday. Why don't I do this? And this could be anything from internal networking with your manager or their manager. You could be rewriting messaging. You could be doing like bulk target account mapping. You could be identifying new target accounts if you have that sort of permission. There's a lot of stuff that goes into the SDR role that you don't have to do on a regular basis, and therefore it can be easy to ignore or let get stale. And I always found that end of November into December was always the best time for me to take a reset. It's also the end of the year, right? You can sort of mentally picture everything. Okay, this is going to be great for the entire next year, and be able to say, okay, this is the messaging I want to change, and then actually take the time to do that. Because I can't count the number of times when I was an SDR that, not during the holidays, any other time of year, that I was like, wow, we need to change up this messaging. I think it'll work really well. And then I just didn't get to it because I was like, well, I also need to call all these people and send them all emails, and they're already in the cadence. So if you've been making excuses for yourself throughout the year for the first 3 quarters, I'll get to it eventually. I'll rework that messaging. Now is the time. This is when you need to be working on that and changing up those non-activity based parts of the SDR job.
Now is eventually. I like that. And I wanted to bring up something that you touched on because it's true. You'll probably spend less time actively prospecting during the holidays just because of these natural lulls of individuals that are out of the office, on vacation, taunting you with their out-of-office replies about the fun vacation that they're taking in Florida where it's nice and warm while you're suffering up here on the East Coast with 2 feet of snow on the ground. I'm not there. Don't worry about it. But there's also this self-fulfilling prophecy that if you don't want to prospect during the holidays, you don't have to because people won't pick up the phone. But people aren't picking up the phone because you don't expect them to pick up the phone and you're not putting as much effort into that activity. And I think from a management perspective, it's important to keep the message of let's push through the holiday season and set ourselves up for 2023 by building up a ton of pipeline now. There's probably not a great opportunity for you during this time of year to set up an actual fruitful discovery call or demo with a target account or a prospect that you've been chasing for a while. But you can have that initial conversation as an SDR to pique their interest and get them set up for January, for February. It's very important to be empathetic. A lot of people are busy this time of year. They're running around going to families for the holidays, and they're trying to get stuff done before they go on vacation. Be cognizant of their time and let them know, listen, I'm just trying to have a very brief introductory call, see if this is even a fit. Let's go ahead and set something up tentatively for January. That way we have more time to learn about each other, figure out if there is a fit, and then if we want to push forward and have an actual demo, we can do it then. It's a really good opportunity for you to build up that credibility and authority as an SDR without trying to push somebody into a meeting during a time of year where they're probably not going to take a meeting at all. So having that mindset and still pushing through and doing activity during the holidays, but tailoring it a little bit more towards future-facing long-term goals could help you a ton as an SDR.
Yeah, and one of the things I like to keep in mind as I'm doing this is that your role as an SDR within the larger sales cycle is not to get deals closed by the end of the month, by the end of the quarter. You can get those meetings by the end of the month or quarter. That's great. But as you're focused, as you're sitting there in December, you're really focused on, obviously it depends on the sales cycle and the length of it, but you're focused on January or February. You don't need to do everything in the month that you reach out to them. So at the same time, that means in November, you should be thinking about December. In October, think about November. And in October and November, great times to call. Just like your normal every day. Nobody's off on vacation yet, at least the first half of November. Then you get to December and you just have to start preparing for January, which is, again, just going to be a normal month. You need to be able to have that pipeline built out, or at least have people going through the cadence, going through the process, so that if they don't respond, they at least see some messages, at least some sort of correspondence and et cetera is going through, so that you're ready in January. It's not about the month that you're in, it's about the next month or the month after, or what have you.
Yeah, even 3 months back, 3 months ahead. If you've got pipeline, it's October. If you've got pipeline that are coming up in, they give you that classic talk to me in the new year, January, let's have a conversation. Reach out to them at the end of October, beginning of November, confirm that that's still the case, that they want to get in touch with you, set up something tentative on the calendar, and instead of an ethereal, let's check in type meeting, you have an actual on the calendar booked meeting with someone for a month and a half out. I'd rather fill my calendar up as an SDR with a ton of tentative meetings rather than have a ton of reconnect tasks in my CRM that I have to go through as soon as the new year hits. So, Alex, like you said, set yourself up for success tomorrow, today, or 3 months from now. You get the idea.
All right, AJ, 15 seconds. Tell everybody about Opt-in.
Opt-in, quick 5-ish minute videos, actionable sales development tips, minimal fluff. You can find us on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on our Instagram, and on the website, demanddrive.com.
This fucking idiot reads for fun. Oh, this guy over here. Books.
Oh, what's that? You don't fall asleep looking at your phone and having it hit you in the face because you're too tired to hold it up? Come on. It's 2022.
You haven't memorized the sleep timer settings on your TV yet? Come on.
Sobs in technology.